Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here today. I am Cecilia Savajan, the Database Information Specialist at Travel Oregon. Today's session, Google Business Profile Fundamentals, is part of Travel Oregon's Small Business Marketing Series. And I will drop a few links in the chat today as we're going along. These links will also be included in the follow-up email that you get from us. So I am happy to introduce our expert and presenter today, Kim Palmer with Miles Partnership. Welcome, Kim.
Thank you, and hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us today for Google Business Profile Fundamentals. I'm Kim Palmer. I am the Destination Optimization Program Director here at Miles Partnership. We are a strategic marketing company that focuses exclusively in the travel and tourism space. We've worked with hundreds of destinations and hospitality businesses around the country, including the team at Travel Oregon on a number of digital marketing and education initiatives. I have been with the company for almost 27 years now. So my first role at Miles was sitting down with destinations and explaining to them what this website thing was and why they were going to need it in their lives. I have a lot of background in both website development, organic search, and ultimately that is what led us into working really closely on what we formerly called the Google DMO Partnership Program, where we're really working closely with Google on a lot of different fronts, both in education, Street View, and other educational partnerships. Through our DMO partnership program, we've worked with over 230 destinations around the US and internationally on optimizing the presence of a destination across Google as well as other major travel planning platforms. At the end of the day, the way our destinations are represented online, particularly on Google, has everything to do with what the individual businesses in our communities look like on those platforms. So as a part of our program, we've audited over, I think we might actually be over 100,000 businesses and points of interest as a part of our programs to determine where businesses sit in terms of whether they've claimed their Google business profile, whether they're actively maintaining it, and their information is current. Hand in hand with that, we do a great deal of industry education and training, such as the session we are going to do today. In fact, I want to say we're close to 8,000 businesses who have participated in our Google-related both fundamentals and maximizing exposure training sessions. We're going to start today by talking about sort of the big picture here of what exactly is our Google business profile and why is it so important to both the online and offline success of our business. Well, that boils down to the fact that your Google business profile is really the single most significant source of organic exposure for your business online. And by organic, I mean non-paid, non-advertising based exposure for your business. Now, there are literally billions of searches happening on Google every single day. In many search results, those searchers are going to encounter something called a Google business profile. Your business most likely already has one. But let's boil that down to what this is. If we look in what we call us nerds who are in the industry, call it a SERP, which stands for Search Engine Results Page. When I do a search on Google, I'll often see either on the right-hand side of the screen if I'm on my desktop, or kind of featured in the center of the screen if I'm on a mobile device, something that looks like a card for a location or a business. And that is a Google business profile. It is everything that Google knows about a location consolidated down into one core piece of information. Now, that same core piece of information about a location is what propagates across all Google products in all languages and in all devices. So it doesn't matter if someone is using Google search on a desktop computer, using it on their mobile device, using Google Maps, perhaps on their mobile device, or even asking a question of their Google Home. If the answer involves facts or reviews or photography about a business location, that is all coming from a single Google business profile for that location. So the impact for your business can be really extensive because of the volume of search that takes place across Google products on a daily basis. In fact, Google reports that local search, so searches that are for a particular product or service in a specific geographic location, is delivering more than 4 billion, with a B, direct connections between businesses and consumers every single month. In our travel and tourism space, Google search is also critical to both the travel planning and the travel experience. Focusrite's research found that over 90% of travelers are using Google at some point in their trip planning process. And while I wouldn't normally argue with Focusrite, I would suspect that that number is really closer to 95, coming up on 100%. If you can think of your own travel planning activity, when was the last time you tried to plan a trip without Googling something along the way? So as we're thinking about what destinations we are going to visit, or once we're within a destination, where are we going to eat? What are we going to do today? When folks are running those searches, it's likely that your Google business profile is going to be the first thing they see about your business when they do a search. So this is our opportunity to make a really good, strong first impression on our potential customers. Now, if you've done a search on Google for things like restaurants in a particular market, or hotels, or attractions, when you look at the search results, they tend to be in this format with a small map and 3 or 4 businesses highlighted in those results, with the opportunity to click through to a longer list of results. Again, us nerds in the SEO space call this the local pack of search results. And one of the number one questions we get asked from small businesses is, how do I get my business to be one of the things that shows up in the local pack of Google search results? Well, there's a couple answers for that, and we try to look for research-based answers to that question. One of the best sources out there is an annual survey done by a company called Bright Local. Since 2013, they have been evaluating the factors that influence what causes businesses to show up in the local pack. And since 2013, the number one signal has been Google Business Profile signals. And what that means is the completeness, quality, and recency of update of a Google Business Profile. However, you can see that starting in 2017, the weight of which the Google Business Profile content became a factor in local pack rankings has increased exponentially. We were originally down around 20%, and as of the 2021 research, it's 36% of the influence of what causes businesses to show up in the local pack. You can see the number 2 influencer is review signals. So the quality, quantity, and recency of the reviews your business is receiving. But you can see that's actually pretty far down there at something like, I would call that around 18% versus 36 being the quick completeness and quality of your Google Business Profile. Google did research back in 2017 with an organization called Ipsos. And what that revealed was that up-to-date and current business profiles on Google are almost 3 times more likely to be considered reputable by a potential customer. And we know that reputation can really make or break folks' decisions of where they choose to go. Up-to-date profiles are also 70% more likely to attract a visit to your physical location and 50% more likely to lead to a purchase. So that really gives us the big picture as to why our Google business profiles are so important to both the online and offline success of our business. Now, Google business profiles have been around for quite some time, and you may have heard of them previously referred to as Google My Business. And there have been some changes in the Googleverse, so to speak. And one of those has been the nomenclature around Google business profiles. What has for many years now been called Google My Business, or GMB, is now being referred to as Google Business Profiles. Now, I've gotten used to saying GMB for a really long time now and trying to say GBP, which I feel like is more of a mouthful. But this is not a particularly consequential change for any of us other than getting our letters right when we're going to use the abbreviation. But what is important in this change is at the same time that the name change took place, Google announced that they were also retiring the app product for managing your Google business profile. In fact, as of this past July, Google has completely removed the Google My Business app from the Google Play and the Apple App Store. So with that product being sunset, there are now, in fact, 2 new ways in which we can edit our Google business profile. And in fact, they've been around for a little while in beta, and now are really at a point where Google is pushing, particularly folks who manage an individual business location, to using either the search engine results page or the Google Maps app to manage their Google business profile. So if you have already claimed your Google business profile and manage it online, if you've logged in recently, you may have gotten a screen that looks like this. And this is letting us know that Google wants us to start using search and maps to manage our profile. And if we click on stay here, we're going to stay within business.google.com to manage our profile. But they're pushing us towards the button that says manage on search, which will then take you to the search results page where you can manage your profile there directly. I do want to call out, though, that once you click this button and make the switch officially, every time going forward you try to log into business.google.com, you're going to be redirected to the search. And for what we've seen, once you switch, there isn't a way back. So just keep that in mind if you do see that dialog box. Now, our 2 edit options for editing our Google business profile. The first is the search engine results interface. So if I search for my business on Google and I'm logged into the account with which I manage my profile, I'm going to see this new section underneath the search and before any of the search results that says your business on Google. And you can see within this are all the tools we need to edit our profile, respond to customers, and engage in promoting our business. If we zoom in on this a little bit more, you can see there's a slider with various cards that gives us quick links to some of the things we should be doing with our business profile. Or we can go into edit profile and select things like business information and hours that we can edit directly in the interface within the search engine results page. Our other option is to use the Google Maps app. So if you are on your phone and you prefer to manage your business profile via the phone, this might be a better choice for you. Just click on the icon for your account, again, making sure it's the account that manages your business. And you'll see one of the options on the menu is your business profiles. If I click on that, I'm going to see a selection of businesses that I manage, or if I only have one, I will see the one business I manage in there. And clicking on that will take me into a similar interface for managing my information. Now, business.google.com, which is the desktop management tool for business profiles, has not entirely gone away. But Google is recommending this product for folks that manage multiple business accounts. So either businesses with multiple locations or organizations that are responsible for multiple businesses, such as an agency. And it will still be available and able to be utilized in that way, at least as far as we know in the foreseeable future. Another great news bite from the travel and tourism industry is that post updates are now available to the accommodations and lodging industry, where they were the one exception to that great tool, which allows us to post announcements and events for our accommodations directly in our business profile. So if you're in the lodging industry and haven't looked at that recently, do check it out. So those are really the headlines of the latest things going on within the Google Business Profile Management space. I want to continue on today by focusing in on 5 fundamentals for us to start with if we're just getting started with our Google Business Profile. So we're going to go through our 5 fundamentals, but first and most importantly, we need to make sure that we have claimed our Google Business Profile online. Claiming your business is a 2-step process of claiming and verification. Much like when you're logging into your bank account online, sometimes there's a double step there to make sure that you really are the true and correct representative of that location. The easiest way to tell whether your business profile is claimed is by using the Google Maps product. If you search for your business in Google Maps, in the profile, there's a button that says About. Within About, if you see this shield and this call out that says Claim this business, it means that your profile has not yet been claimed and verified. So if you are logged into the Google account with which you want to claim that location, you can click on it and it will take you through the process of raising your hand and claiming access to that location. That's where the verification steps comes in. They want to confirm that you have access to that business location. Traditionally, this is primarily done in one of 2 ways, which is by postcard and by phone. If you choose the postcard option, it will take 5 to 7 days for that postcard to be mailed to the address that is within your Google Business Profile. Do note that these cannot be sent to PO boxes. You cannot claim a Google business at a PO box. It does have to be a physical address. If that option is not available to you, you are sometimes offered the ability to verify by phone. That phone call happens fairly instantaneously, and so you need to be on hand to be able to answer that call and get that, I think it's a 5 or 6 digit verification code off of that phone call. The phone call method will not work if you have an auto answer menu system within your phone, because it's not going to click 1 to get the front desk or anything like that. And so you would have to use the postcard method in that case. If neither of those work, There are some other options that are available by going directly through Google support. One of the most recent ones we've seen is video verification, where someone from Google will actually get on the equivalent of a Zoom call with you and ask to kind of see the sign outside and the front door and the cash register, and sort of verify by more or less looking around that you are the business. So once we have claimed and verified our profile, few things we should really pay close attention to when we first get started. First and foremost are our hours. Searches for things like open now have really skyrocketed in the last couple of years. Google reports a 300% increase in searches for open now, and a 200% increase in searches for open now near me just in the last couple of years. And if you think about your own behavior, what's the most common thing you look for about a business? Is it open right now? What time does it close? What time does it open tomorrow? And there's nothing more frustrating than choosing a cute coffee shop that you want to visit and showing up there for your morning brew, only to find that it is in fact closed when Google says that it is open. So we want to make sure that that doesn't happen for our prospective customers. Another reason it is important to update our hours on a regular basis is that Google has started calling out within the business profile how recently hours have been updated for that business. So you can see there's a little note under hours that now shows up that will say, this was updated by the business 8 days ago, or an hour ago, or 4 weeks ago. And this really, in a positive sense, will help with customer confidence because they know those hours have been updated recently, but it can also hurt customer confidence if it's been months and months and they have to wonder whether or not they are really current. A little pro tip, I do, and again, I do recommend you kind of go in and check your Google business profile on at least a monthly basis. If you go in and modify your hours, even if you change your opening time to 8 a.m. and change it back to 9 a.m. In the same few minutes of time there, it will trigger this note that says that it's been updated by you recently. Now, if we're in the search engine results page and we want to edit our hours, you want to look for the button that says Edit Profile. And within Edit Profile, one of the options is Business Information. We're going to select Business Information, and that will give us a tab for hours. At the top of this section is our area for keeping our regular daily hours up to date. Sunday through Saturday, when you open and when you close. Important to keep an eye on if these hours change for your business on a seasonal basis. A new tool that businesses received during COVID was the ability to also set specific hours for things like delivery, takeout, and senior hours. So if any of those apply to you, you can go in and set specific hours for those services. Also keep an eye on your email, because as our holidays come up, you will get emails from Google asking you to update your holiday hours. And it's important to not ignore these emails, even if your hours are exactly the same on a holiday as they are any other day. Again, that's about customer confidence. On holidays, the hours for businesses that have not been confirmed by a business owner are going to have a little note under them like this that say hours may differ, or 4th of July may impact hours. However, if you've gone in there for the date of the 4th of July and put in your hours, even if they're the same as your regular hours, Your listing is going to have green text that says these hours, 4th of July hours verified by business. This tool actually allows you to set opening and closing hours for any day of the year. You could go in and put in different hours for 365 days of the year if you were so inclined. This is also a great tool to help us with special circumstances. If you are closing early because of a downtown parade or are closed for a couple of days because of a weather incident, this would be the way to go in there and change your hours for those particular days. Second, we want to look at what categories our businesses are listed under. Adding additional relevant categories to your business can significantly expand where your business shows up because it's going to match more searches. Now, you have to have a primary category for your business to have a Google business profile at all. But you also have the opportunity to choose additional categories. So if we are something like a seafood restaurant, but maybe we're also an organic restaurant or a steak restaurant or a fine dining restaurant, the more subcategories I select for my business, the more likely I'm going to match for specific searches for things like seafood restaurant or fine dining restaurant. So that increases our relevancy to more greater variety of customer searches. Now, there are over 4,000 categories within Google that you can choose from for your business. So chances are there is one that matches your business, if not several. Google does not allow us to make up our own categories. If you can imagine what would happen if they allowed that to happen on a worldwide scale, what an absolute mess that database would turn into. So there are about 4,000. They fluctuate by 30 or so every year as new things are added and things that have not been used by anyone for a long time are removed. So I definitely encourage you to go in and think about how your potential customers might search for your business. What are other terms or types of things they might be looking for that you want them to find you? And go ahead and type those in and see what comes up as a match as a business category. You are allowed to have up to 9 additional categories, so 10 categories in total for your business. These are also managed under Edit Profile and Business Information. You'll see a category with a little pencil next to it where you can edit that called Business Category. Again, you can choose up to 9 additional categories for your listing. Now, the categories for your business also go hand in hand with the attributes that are available for you to choose for your business. So different kinds of businesses have different attributes available to them. So a little pro trick here, if you are a lodging property, you're going to have, actually lodging has the largest selection of attributes. But if you're also something like an event venue or a wedding venue, if you make event venue or wedding venue one of your categories, you're actually going to get a whole other set of attributes related to being an event facility that aren't available to you as a lodging property. So that's our number 3 tip here is monitoring your attributes. Much like categories, attributes are added into Google Business Profiles on a relatively regular basis. And certain attributes actually get called to the forefront in your business profile. One of the things that came out of COVID was one of the defaults for dining listings now is that dine-in, takeout, and delivery, where you stand on those topics, are front and center in the listing. Also things like in-store shopping and in-store pickup in the retail space. We're still seeing health and safety features for businesses called out directly in the knowledge panel for locations. And you are also able to self-identify your business as things like women-led, veteran-led, Black-owned, and Latino-owned. And those will show up with a little icon like you see here for your business. Again, this does happen within that business information section under more. Underneath more, there will be different subcategories for attributes such as accessibility, amenities, etc. Click on that little pencil to see the available options. One thing to also keep in mind with your attributes is that these are all, you'll see a list of things that you can choose. You can click on them once to select that you do have that service, but in some cases, you also have the option to select that you don't have that service. So you can see in this example, we've got a negative mark here under pets welcome. And that can be very helpful to improve customer satisfaction because you're answering a question that they don't want to find out the answer to when you get there. So, you know, we are avoiding customer service issues by stating up front, listen, this is not a pet friendly location. However, if we do welcome pets and we select this attribute, we also are more likely to come up in additional searches because when folks search for pet-friendly restaurants, or they're using one of the search filters in Google Maps, Google is drawing from these attributes for the filters that you see in any of their products. So having your attributes up to date, again, is a primary influencer on how well you will match more search results. Number 4 is responding to customer reviews. One of the things that influences what shows up in local search results is a factor that we call prominence. And prominence is the frequency, quality, and quantity of reviews that any business receives. Your reviews are going to show up directly in your Google business profile, and they are the source of the star rating for your business. Many customers will just leave a star rating without writing a review. But it's important to think strategically about replying and responding to your customer reviews, both positive and negative reviews. And I realize that is a lot of work, and most folks don't have time to respond to 100% of the reviews that they receive online. But let's take a look at this research that was done by Uberall. They looked at the conversion rates of businesses compared to how many of their customer reviews they responded to. And what they found was that there was an 80% increase in conversion rate between businesses that responded to 1 in 10 reviews versus businesses that responded to 3 out of 10 reviews. So 10% to 30%. Just responding to 2 more reviews out of every 10 was generating an 80% increase in conversion for those businesses. Not only does responding to negative reviews demonstrate that you care about the quality of your customer's experience, it becomes, it has an influence on other potential customers as well, because they see that you are proactively taking care of your clients. Even responding to positive reviews, creates that same sense of caring and awareness for your potential customers. To respond to reviews in that search engine results page interface, we want to look for the customers button. And that's going to give us the option of engaging with reviews, messages, and Q&A. We're going to stick with reviews for now. We have the option to both thumbs up or like a review, which is a real quick and easy way to acknowledge some of the positive reviews without writing something or having to come up with something unique to say for every response. But you can also use this reply button to go ahead and type in your reply to the review. You notice that your reply will also be attributed to the owner of the location. Our fifth recommendation is that you get into the habit of uploading at least 4 photos a month to your Google business profile. Photos are really key to how potential customers make decisions about your business and to which business they are going to work with. It's also backed up by research. This is a Bright local survey that looked at businesses based on the quantity of photos that they had in the photo gallery of their business profile. And you can see that businesses that had over 100 images in their profile gallery had 291% higher exposure within search results. We do think that Google's algorithm is taking into account the recency with which photos are updated as an indicator that a place is happening, right? Like that there are new things going on and to be seen, and this is a popular location. In Miles' own experience with the hotel, restaurant, spa, and other properties that we own, that we manage the business profiles for, we found that by adding 4 to 5 new photos every month, those properties are seeing between a 10% and a 30% increase in their visibility for their profile in things like search results. Something I see happen all the time with small businesses is when you first get into your Google business profile, you have 5 or 6 great images that are what you use in all your marketing. And you upload those 5 or 6 images to the profile. They look really good, but 2 years later, they're still the only images that have been uploaded. And customers really want to see what a location looks like today and what's happening there and now. So getting into the habit of uploading photos on a regular basis will improve both your visibility and, again, that customer confidence element. I'll give you an example of what we mean by a good photo, too, when we're looking at Google. On the Google platform, a good photo is not just a pretty photo. It's also informative as well as attractive. So in this case, you can see, we can tell that the photo on the left is of the Branson Ferris wheel. Not only is it bright, colorful, and have great contrast, but I know what I'm looking at. The horizon is straight, etc. The one on the right is a little more questionable. It's off kilter. It looks like it may or may not even be open. And it doesn't really give us that same sort of context. Within the edit profile, where we've done a lot here through business information, you'll see that there's a selection option here specifically for photos. If we click on this, we can either upload a photo off our device or drag a photo there to be uploaded to our listing. We also get the option to categorize them a little bit there. I do see we have a question here about user-generated photos, and are they a factor in search ranking? In the research I just showed, that total of 100 photos or more was inclusive of both business photos and user photos. So an active location often has a lot of customers uploading and tagging that location in their photos. However, Google tends to preference business submitted photos. It's not in this deck, but I do another presentation that shows that while user generated content can make up something like 60% of your photo gallery, your photos, business photos, tend to make up greater than 50% of all the views. So our customers know to look at the pictures that came from the business versus customer photos. I also, a question we get asked very frequently is, what do we do about poor quality user photos that we don't want associated with our profile? If you click on those photos in that gallery, either you'll see a flag icon in the upper right hand corner that allows you to flag a photo, or an option in the little 3-dot drop down that says report this photo. Those dialogues will let you just choose the option poor quality photo or not a photo of this place as a reason for the photo to be removed from your gallery. So you submit that request to Google. They do have someone on the other end who looks at them and will, might take a little time, but does ultimately remove flagged photos that are marked as poor quality or offensive in some way, shape, or form, etc. There was one in here about whether it's not a photo of your business. That is actually one of the options in that dialogue that says not a photo of this place. So if a photo has been uploaded in error, or it's the place across the street or next door, that's how you would address that. So those are our 5 fundamentals as we get started with managing our Google business profile, making sure that our hours are current, choosing as many categories as are accurate for our business to show up in more searches, as well as checking our attributes to make sure we've used all the ones that are applicable to us. By responding to just 30%, 3 out of every 10 reviews to our business, we can create an 80% lift in conversion. And by posting just 4 photos a month, we can also increase exposure by up to 30%. So beyond those fundamentals, I also wanted to take some time today to queue up the next presentation in this grouping, talking about a really incredible platform that Travel Oregon has available to the businesses in Oregon for completely free. And this is called Local. Because if you're thinking like this sounds like a lot to manage and I'm not real familiar or comfortable with these new ways for me to edit my business profile, you're right. They can be a little bit complicated. And that's why Travel Oregon has teamed up with an Oregon-based company called Local. And their platform offers you a free way to manage your business profile, maximize your exposure without the clutter of working through the search engine results page. This is an exclusive opportunity for Oregon travel businesses. In addition to being able to easily do the things we've talked about in this session, Local has some unique tools such as Profile Lock that will stop unauthorized changes to the content within your profile. They also have a social connector. So if you use posts in your Google business profile, those posts can also be pushed to your Instagram or your Facebook automatically. They also have a post scheduler so that you can schedule your posts in advance and maybe only have to do that once a month instead of once a week. Beyond that, there's great analytics data available when you're using the Local platform. They are able to go back to 18 months of the analytics data of your Google business profile and put it in some very useful and interesting reports on the performance of your Google business profile. We've had a number of business owners using the local platform over the last year. You can see here are a couple of testimonial quotes from some Oregon businesses who find that the platform is providing them some really helpful recommendations and helping them to save time. So that sort of wraps up what we want to cover here today. A few things I want to call out for next steps for you. First of all, we have some time left for some questions. I've tried to answer a few of them as we've gone here. But if you have a particular circumstance or you're having some trouble with claiming your Google Business Profile, one of the free services that Miles Partnership is providing through Travel Oregon is what we call office hours, where you can set up a 15-20-minute Zoom call with my team, and they will help walk you through the claiming process or answer questions about your Google Business Profile. This is absolutely free. It's done virtually. Miles does not have any products or services to upsell to you. We are really genuinely just here to help you along in this process. And if local sounds interesting to you, please register for the next local fundamentals training coming up here on August 25th. The team from local will be doing a demo of the platform and what you can accomplish with it. And Travel Oregon has put together a whole toolkit for you on managing your business listings. That's located at industry.travelOregon.com/listings. So do take advantage of these free resources and one-on-one support that are available to you. Celia is also putting links to these in the chat. So if you want to click on into any of those now to go ahead and register for the local webinar, office hours, or to get some more information. So I've got about 10 minutes left in the hour here. If anybody has questions, we are using the Q&A section here within Zoom. I have one in here right now that says, is there any advantage of switching to use Google Maps and search instead of staying with the old interface? I only have one location. The intent from Google is that the new search and maps interfaces are easier, faster and easier to use, particularly on mobile, without having to have a separate app to manage your listing. Eventually, the old interface is no longer going to be available to individual business locations. They have not said when. Because as you can imagine, that's a fairly large transition. So the hope is that using either maps or search is faster and easier than the traditional interface there. I've used it a good bit. It's really kind of straightforward there within your search results page. And that can also be where potentially using the local platform might be helpful to you, because it isn't going anywhere, and it is going to have all of those tools available.
I'm seeing a question related to being by appointment only.
I'm not entirely sure I'm understanding the question. The interface to do so already, to do what? To move it or to be open by appointment only. So I'll try to answer both. If you're moving locations, you want to see if there's already a listing at that location that you can claim. Otherwise, if you're in Google Maps, you can right click and add a place. And in the add a place interface, you will be asked to claim it as well. If you have not yet claimed the old location, I would do so as well, or so that you can close it. You can go in there and just suggest an edit to mark as permanently closed. But it's taken more seriously, I suppose, if the owner closes it or changes the location. In terms of being by appointment only, that is one of the trickier things to do, despite all the various hours opportunities that we have available in the platform. You can sort of set hours by individual dates. There in the special hours section, there is an option for online appointments, which is not really the same thing, but is similar. The other things I recommend for folks to do are you can write your own description for the business, and within the description, make it the first line, like the first thing you say in your description, we are open by appointment only, because then that will be visible within the listing. And also take advantage of the posts feature. You can recur posts and use posts to say, this week we are open by appointment Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or something like that, and continue to post regularly as a way, at least then that content is guaranteed to be in the listing there. Otherwise, you really kind of have to make yourself open during the windows that you're willing to accept appointments. It's probably the best thing that you can do. As far as actually booking appointments, it depends a little bit on your industry and integration. It depends on your industry. Restaurants obviously have an open table integration. Certain kinds of attractions are able to integrate pricing in there, but they did take away Book with Google a couple of years ago, which had a wide variety of spa integrations and things for gyms and salons and stuff to integrate in there. So it sort of depends what platform you're using. Again, that's if you're using you can also use posts. One of the things you can do in posts is you have full control over where that post links to. So you could create a post that links to your appointment platform and continue to do that on a regular basis. And that would create a link from that listing to that platform. And just some more specifics there about how folks are going to, again, I would try to clarify that in the description, or using posts are probably the two easiest ways to get in there. And then really physically on site, if you're going to set your hours to being open, making sure there's signage around where you're at to let folks, if anyone has wandered in, they know how to get in touch with you or to get let upstairs. And you're welcome.
This is great. I think we got through all those really great questions. Again, I can't stress enough, Miles' partnership, Kim and her team are here to help us all. If you do have questions, please take advantage of that office hour sign up. Even if you realize you have a question after today, just follow that Calendly link to book your 15-minute time slot. And then before we go here, let's see, there's the way to sign up for office hours in the chat. I also want to share our survey link with everyone. We really value your feedback. You're giving us time attending these webinars. Please do complete that survey at your convenience, and it will be included in our follow-up email to you that you should get in a couple business days. So I think with no more open questions, Kim, thank you so much for being here today. I think I tell you this after every webinar, I always learn something new. So thank you for being the expert you are and taking us into Google Business Profile fundamentals today.
Thank you. It was great to talk to everyone. Have a great rest of your day.
Right. Well, thank you. Bye, everyone.